new town hall, new meta, and of course, new armies into the game. But in today's video, I'll show you what the strongest ground smash army is. So without any further ado, let's dive right into it. And we are jumping right into our very first replay for today. And of course, this one is going to have essentially the hero belt in the middle of the base. The good thing about this is that it gives you that sound effect prior to the attack beginning, which kind of indicates that the heroes will be kind of raged up. So with this army composition here, we could see we have 4 invis spells, we have 2 earthquakes, and of course the 3 totem spells. So the totem spells are essentially being used for tankage, in which they are very multi-use cases. I'll kind of show you throughout these attacks today. So main goal here is primarily focusing on the fireball more than anything. Obviously, in my opinion, this one is going to be stronger than the actual fireball into thrower or fireball into reriders. I just think for reriders right now, with the guardian being in the middle of the base, it can actually snipe out a lot of your troops, which makes it very difficult to clean up for trying to get to this purpose. So anyways, small warning walk here, investing a rage headhunter, because again, a raged hero versus a warded, it can get very dicey, especially depending on the amount of damage incoming onto it. But here we are going to use an ice block. It is situational. You sometimes will not need the ice block, but depending on what you invis, you can overlap it in this lot, which forces the warder can kind of go around, which gets into a lot of damage. So it can get a little dicey there, but for me, I am going to fireball into the middle, because on these rage invis, kind of pretty much need to target that middle base. But you can see that guardian is already kind of sniping my warden, so I'm going to have to kind of drop one of the invis first and then drop a totem so that we can switch the target from the warden, from the army, onto the totem. Now obviously it can be placed a little further inside of the right compartment where I drop the fireball, so that only the guardian can target the totem, which can help so it doesn't target any of your army. So king and wall breaker always is primarily, or the one wall breaker that I do have, I will always like to use it for the king, because the troop launcher will provide the wall breaker. So I like to use the troop launcher in this scenario, or for this army in general, because not only it provides you more, army or more tankage troops inside with your smash, but it also provides wall breakers, which opens layers or secondary layers for the ground smash. Overguard spell primarily used to alleviate the damage or redirect or create even better pathing. In this purpose, I use it on the right side in hopes of pushing everything towards this upper left, because you can see the king is working around. We got the totem tanking. RC fortunately died, but we do have the queen ability, which we're going to phase here. And from at this point, it is all going to be a matter of time for this attack to triple. So time does become an issue a little bit, especially if you lose, for example, the RC early, or if you lose the Bearing King early. Time will be a factor depending on if you're doing a easy, shallow, cheap fireball, or if you're doing those initial warden walk and investing a rage for getting those deeper fireballs. So again, it really comes down to time, but this army never really struggle if the opener goes correctly. So again, this army first attack here will be a triple. We're going to go ahead and just jump to the very next replay. And next up, we are going to be taking a look at a more of a closer to max base, but it is indeed a double rage base. So obviously, if we look at thrower smash, or if we look at roots with the fireball against this kind of a double rage, it can actually be pretty hard, because back end and of course raged heroes on the flank, a little bit dicey there. Anyways, we are going to be taking the fireball on the rage tower. I just honestly feel like on double rage bases, hitting a rage tower will be the best value for fireball. That way you don't have to go against double rage, but instead you'll go into a single rage. So you can see how I am investing all 4 of the invis there just to land on that rage tower like we need. I did use the ice block there, and you don't really need to, but if it gets in range of the hero, it can be a little bit dicey. So I just played it safe rather than risking it and losing the fireball early and hitting the outside building there. So you can see utilizing a totem there, trying to lock on to that guardian, as you can see, so it doesn't really target my warden, because I thought my warden angle will be a little bit different, which would be in range of the guardian. So I decided to elect to use one of the totem stairs just to be able to kind of tank that for us there. So you can see I'm still holding off on the world champion until right now. I just prefer the world champ to be slightly delayed, because again, like I said, time becomes an issue if your RC dies early, and same as applying in the rewriter attacks from last meta. RC has a good tendency on getting ahead of the Root Riders there. So in the same purpose here, you are going to see me kind of delay that just so I can kind of have a lot in the tank to be able to keep the world champion up and later duration of the attack there. So you saw the overgrowth was on the left side of the rage just so it could give me time to be able to take down the Guardian, take down the CC Ice Golems, and then get myself into the back end to where I can really phase and use all of my hero abilities there on the back end. You can see the world champion working. This entire smash is just with the troop launcher's troops, it's going to be able to tank because these are single damage defenses. It is going to take some time, and with the meteor golem being able to launch and spawn, it does make this army super powerful when you do have a compact core with the troop launcher troops. So again, very, very nice attack here. We do have all 4 of our heroes alive with the meteor golems alive running around, which then goes to show that this army is actually pretty strong on the right bases, which again on fireball, a lot of these bases in my opinion will have fireball value because the more compact the base, the higher the chance it has to defend these ground smashes. But now let's just proceed into a double poison base. And the very next base here is going to be a double poison base here, which we obviously have good fireball value because of how these compartments are set. So for this one, since there's no really outside defenses on either the left or the right hand side, you can really get a immediate fireball either hitting the poison or, you know, hitting the expo. I believe I hit the expo with the immediate fireball. I just elected to use 3 invises just so it did the immediate fireball to be able to land and be able to take down this left flank of the space. In addition to that, you are going to be able to get a hero like I did there. So second quake there, just to finish off the multi-archer tower because the fireball was able to slightly pick that off. So free defense there on that without having to do any warden walks. Now, if you always get the ability to be able to do the immediate fireballs, I would always do that. That way you can immediately start your smash without having to waste any time. Because again, like I said, time becomes slightly of an issue if you're going to have to do longer warden walks, investing in the rage, etc. So entering here instead of the top side, mainly because that core defense with the CC and of course going against the spitter, you may be going into too much damage there and that purpose. So that's exactly why I'm going to be entering on this bottom side. I am jumping everything there, and I'm jumping my totem. You can see the totem spells are really just to be sitting there to tank the Guardian, so you don't get the Guardian to be flanking your entire army. That's the one good thing I like about this. Totem spell is not only you can use it to tank for your RC if it get ahead, but you can also use it to tank the Guardians, like for this case we are doing there. Now, I've elected to actually overgrowth the core because the Hive Bomb and of course the actual Revenge Tower was going to be flanking a lot of this army should I actually not over that and dealing with the Ice Golem, the Guardian, and those defense. I think it will be very little tricky there to manage that. So popping the spear there to try to get this world champion with the spear to kind of keep her back so she doesn't really get ahead of the entire army. Barbarian King, you can see him stay on the outside, is actually clearing a majority of the flank for us to where we do have our entire smash pushing through the middle after the overgrowth. With the perfect timing after the CC and the Guardian, we were able to get the Queen in good position to snipe the hull, snipe the Revenge Tower, and to proceed with the rest of the base with the ability there. So again, using that last ice block because we didn't use it, like I said, it's situational. If you don't want to bring it, you can really bring a Fort Totem, but for me, I just like to be able to control and manage the Barbarian King, or not the Barbarian King, my Warden Walk, versus actually having the Warden go into heavy damages or into, you know, certain areas you don't want him to be. You're launching fireball. So pretty decent hit, but let's just take a look into our final replay for today. Last up is going to be on quite literally a close to max base. I do believe that Hive is actually a max defense there. Hive is actually pretty max with the long range. Look at that range on the, it's actually insane range there for the tile of that defense. So anyways, like I said here, Reach Invis, I always like to hit the core with the fireball. It may look dicey and sketchy with 4 Invis, but again, choosing the right angle of your Warden Wall can always make or break that hit. So I took a huge risk here without using the Invis, but I was fortunate here to be able to actually keep it alive. The Invis was slightly late, which evidently was not needed, but playing it safe rather than losing the ability. Because on Invis Rage, missing that fireball or having it go early can be very a disaster there of an opener. So either way, taking a good Warden Walk here to try and get you know, set up a really good cheap fireball, which again, 2 invis after that was pretty good. You can see the minion prince was immediate locking onto the warden. So you have to kind of be ready to drop the queen with the headhunter to be able to kind of snipe that. The same opener as applying there, kind of using a totem star to tank the multi-gear because I did not want either the queen or the warden be taking it. So a little slightly good opener with the next totem cell there to be able to tank the guardian. So that way, again, none of these troops gets to be taking the damage. So that way we can get this push and get the troops to get to the middle of the base there. So you can see the king working on the outside. And again, with the revenge tower being placed there, it won't really do too much for me. But again, getting the CC here out of the way early and start gives us a really good flexibility to be able to kind of just wait and hold off our overgrowth spell to be able to kind of use as flexibility there. So you can see it, everything is kind of pushing towards the bottom on the outskirts of the base, more so than the inside, because again, we took down the entire core with that fireball, which means if you hit that core and getting the CC, pretty much GG's at that point. So we are going to overgrowth the monolith, the high defense, and of course doing that a little bit early because time would be an issue because everything is so concentrated on the outside and working around every single defense and trash building instead of actually working to the end of the base. And we have to work our way at the very top of the base. So time definitely was getting into a slight of a problem, but because we have this entire force there, and of course, with the good tankage that we were able to get from the troop launcher, we were able to kind of have a lot of these meteor golems up. And now the monolith, the hive, Rico Cannon with Super Wiz Tower, and of course the Potential Tower, the only last defenses popping, facing all of our abilities so that we don't actually time fail. And of course, you can see there, we are going to be wrapping this up with yet another triple with this army composition. I'll definitely go ahead and link the army composition down to you guys, but I do want to go ahead and show you how we did with the army. Again, all these fails again are going to be slight time fails because I did end up losing again the RC or hero dying super early, which is unfortunate. But you can see this army is quite legit, and legends with some good usage and practice, this could easily be a good 320 day for either one day. So yeah, I will go ahead and link the army composition down below. I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. If you guys did, make sure you guys go ahead, give it a thumbs up, give it a comment for more videos just like this, and make sure you guys stay subscribed to the channel. But until then, I'll catch you all in the very next one. Ghost out.